Hello dear student, welcome back in experiment number 22, that is belong to the pharmaceutical chemistry practice. This is actually the experiment based on the synthesis. As far as the aim of this experiment is concerned, this is to synthesize acetanilide from aniline and find out its percent practical yield and a melting point. Okay, so we have to synthesize acetanilide first from aniline. Aniline is a precursor, and then after that, after synthesis, we have to find out its percent practical yield and a melting point. This is the aim for our practical synthesis of acetanilide. Prior concept, we know basic organic reactions are what their basic organic reaction include the reactants will going to be react in presence of the catalyst, it will give the product. This is a basic organic reaction. Crude product, if you are going to talk about the crude product, is a product which has contain the impurity, that we call a crude product. Before the purification, what is the product we are obtaining, we call a crude product, and after the purification, that will be the pure product. Melting point, we had studied, we had determined also in previous experiment. Melting point is the temperature at which the substance start to melt or convert from solid to liquid state, we call a melting point. And aromatic organic reactions include aromatic organic compound include the cyclic compounds which having at least one benzene ring in its structure. So this is the synthesis based on the acetylation reaction. This is the proposition 1, or the principle behind the synthesis of acetanilide. The reaction is acetylation reaction. Acetylation reaction is a process in which the reactive hydrogen atom is replaced by acetyl group. COCH3 is acetyl group. Hydrogen got replaced with this acetyl group. From preferably primary amine react upon warming with acetic anhydride to give the monoacetyl derivative. As you can see that aniline is an example of the aromatic amine. Aromatic because this is a cyclic ring with the amino group. Aromatic amine has a 2 replaceable hydrogen atoms. Hydrogen has a 2 replaceable hydrogen atoms. One of these got replaced with the acetyl group. COCH3 group is called as acetylation reaction. Now you can see that the one of hydrogen got replaced with this acetyl group in presence of acetic anhydride to give the monoacetyl derivative, that is NHCOCH3. This we call acetanilide. It has a molecular weight 135, and this aniline precursor having molecular weight 93. So this aniline react with acetic acid in presence of acetic anhydride. It will give acetanilide, which is our product and which is the monoacetyl derivative. Next, if the heating is prolonged and the excess of acetic anhydride is employed, variable amount of the diacetyl derivatives are formed. However, these diacetyl derivatives are unstable in presence of water and undergo the hydrolysis to give the monoacetyl derivative. And aniline we know that there are 2 replaceable hydrogen atoms with this aniline. If one got replaced, one got replaced with acetyl group, we are getting monoacetyl derivative. If both these hydrogens got replaced with both these acetyl group, we are calling diacetyl derivative. But we are interested in monoacetyl derivative, that is our product acetanilide. We are not interested in this diacetyl derivative. And as when it is going to be occur, if there is a excess of acetic anhydride and the heating is prolonged, so there is a formation of diacetyl derivative. But there is no need to worry that if there is a diacetyl derivative is formed, this diacetyl derivative is unstable and it undergo the hydrolysis in presence of water. As it undergo the hydrolysis, it can again convert into monoacetyl derivative. Means say basically we are getting, or finally we are getting monoacetyl derivative. That is our product of interest, acetanilide we are getting. No need to worry if you are getting diacetyl derivative, because it is unstable and again hydrolysis, it undergo the hydrolysis in presence of water to give the monoacetyl derivative. So finally we are getting a product, no problem. There are therefore when a mixture of the monoacetyl and diacetyl derivatives are crystallized from the aqueous solvent like dilute alcohol, and only we are getting only the monoacetyl derivative is obtained. That's why we are getting a product, main product. Next, synthesis. What do you mean by synthesis? Because this is the first time we are going to perform the synthesis. It is a process in which the new product with a unique structural formula and with a unique or new molecular weight and with a new melting point is produced with a chemical reaction. The process is called as synthesis. Means what we are getting? We are getting new product. We are using aniline as a precursor and we are getting acetanilide as a new product, as a unique product. That is new product definitely will have the new structural formula, definitely will have the new molecular weight, definitely will have the new melting point. So that's why this synthesis of the new product or preparing or making a new product by the means of chemical reaction we call a synthesis. So this we are doing the synthesis in this experiment. Next, what is purification? It is the process of removing impurities. Definitely, purification, removing impurities from the product. Basically, we are obtaining the crude product, and after the purification, will get purified by dissolving into the particular solvent, and we are removing the impurities. That we call a purification. And it includes the application of the recrystallization. The purification can be done by recrystallization, washing and drying the product in an oven at definite temperature for a desirable period of time. Okay, so this is called as purification. Recrystallization, it is again one of the process of purification. Recrystallization is a process in which the compound is dissolved, or whatever the product, crude product we are obtaining is to be dissolved in the selected solvent with the heating if required, and then cooled slowly to saturated solution from which the pure product is crystallized out, recrystallized out actually. Okay, so we are making it saturated solution, we are heating and there we are cooling, so that whatever the impurities are there which will be remain dissolved into the solvent, and the pure product will get recrystallized out, so that we are getting pure product, that we call a recrystallization. Okay, next, yield. About the yield, if you are talking, yield is it's a quantity of product we are getting. It is definitely the yield means what? It is the quantity of the product obtained in the synthesis. What is the quantity of product we are obtaining, that we call a yield. Now yield will be of different types, that depends. Theoretical yield, practical yield and a percent yield. So if you are talking about the theoretical yield, it is the weight of product that one should get basis of the stoichiometric ratio, stoichiometric quantities of the reagent, assuming there is a say 100% completion of the reaction. Theoretical yield we can consider on the theoretical basis. So that the one thing to be considered, that it is to be assumed that there is a say 100% completion of a reaction, and what amount of product we should have to get on a theoretical basis, that we call a theoretical yield. Okay, theoretical yield. And if you are getting clear with this practical yield. Practical yield is nothing but what? It is the weight of product actually obtained after the purification of the product. Okay, so actual weight of the product after the purification, that we call, actually we are getting on a practical basis, that we call a practical yield. And theoretical basis, just on the basis of molecular weight, equimolar ratio, what amount of product we should have to get on a theoretical basis, by assuming the reaction is 100% complete, and by assuming that on a stoichiometric quantities of the reagents are pure and the reaction is 100% complete. On a theoretical basis, how much product we have to get, that is the theoretical yield, and actual we are getting, that is the practical yield. Okay, and on the basis of this theoretical yield and the practical yield, one can calculate the percent yield. And percentage yield, it is to be calculated from given formula, that the percent yield equal to the practical yield divided by theoretical yield into 100. So that we are converting into the percent yield, how much percent yield we got, and definitely that is in the proportion of practical yield. Okay, next, this is the general concept about the synthesis. That is the first we have to going to synthesize the reagent, synthesize the product, then we have to go for purification. Whatever the yield we are getting, then we have to go for the melting point determination. So that this is the complete process. Learning objective includes to understand the concept of experiment. This is a synthesis. Then standard precautions we have to take, plan of the experiment, perform the calculations. Motor skills include the ability to handle the equipment, definitely. So both the types of skills are included in your practical curriculum, that is intellectual skill and a motor skill. Take a record observation and work according to the plan, and ability to work in a group. All these are the motor activities. Next, apparatus we need round bottom flask, that we call RBF, around 100 ml. Then reflux condenser, then beaker, Buchner funnel, vacuum pump we needed for the during the filtration, during the purification. Measuring cylinder we needed. Chemicals including aniline is a precursor, acetic acid is a reagent, acetic anhydride is actually a catalyst. Zinc dust we need to purify, to remove the impurities, and ethyl alcohol for the recrystallization. So stepwise procedure include, the first we have to take the 5.1 gram of the, or around 5 ml of the aniline in 100 ml of the round bottom flask. This is the round bottom flask that we call RBF. In this we have to take at least 5 ml of these aniline, and to this we have to add 5 ml of acetic acid and 5 ml of acetic anhydride, and pinch of zinc dust to be added in the RBF. This we have to make the reagent ready in RBF, and this RBF we have to attach to this condenser. Okay, this is the condenser. To this, including this condenser and RBF, we call a reflex assembly. Including both this, we call a reflex assembly. So we have to attach by this end, and with this end of this condenser, we have to attach. And this condenser includes the cooling system also. There is a say two say that two pipes are there, outer and inner one. So outer one will have the coolant. This is the flow of coolant. Normally we are using a water, and we are giving inlet of water from the bottom, so that there is a say more and more intimate contact of this cool liquid with this heated vapor, and this is the outlet of the water. So continuously we have to give the input of cool water through this condenser, so that the water, whatever the vapors are being created during the heating of this reaction mixture in the RBF, will get cool out during this in the condenser, and will get reflux, will get re-enter into the RBF. This is exactly the assembly of RBF, reflux assembly we are calling. Fix the reflux condenser to the flask and reflux gently for 30 minutes. This we have to heat for 30 minutes, and this is a reaction mixture available, and to this we have attached the condenser. We had added on this cooling system by inlet of water and outlet of water. This we call a condenser, and in the middle pipe of this condenser, whatever the liquid is being heated, this is a heating mantle which is being heating the which provide the heat, so that the reaction mixture can be heated for 30 minutes. And whatever the vapors are being forming during this, due to this reaction mixture heated, that vapors will get come out and come in contact with this condenser, will get condensed and will get reflux, will get re-enter into the flask. So this is we call a reflux assembly, and the purpose of using this reflux assembly is for a long time heating to prevent the loss of reaction. If you are directly going to heat in the open vessel for 30 minutes, all of these reagent or reaction mixture will get evaporated, and there is, at the end of the 30 minutes, there is no there is no reactant remain, or reaction mixture is remain in the flask. It will get completely evaporated. So we had added the reflux assembly, so that whatever the reaction we have to need to heat it for 30 minutes, maybe for 1 hour, maybe for 2 hours. Wherever there is a long term heating, we have to heat the reaction mixture under the reflux, so that due to the presence of condenser, we are preventing the loss of reaction mixture. So this is exactly the assembly. Cooling pipes are there, inlet and outlet to the condenser. We have to use these two clamp stand, one clamp which will hold the condenser, and second clamp will hold the RBF, and this is the heating system. Normally burner again we can use. Now after the 30 minutes heating, we have to pour the reaction mixture into the 100 ml of cold water with a continuous stirring. With continuous stirring, we have to pouring the reaction mixture into the cold water with a continuous stirring, and then we have to go for the filtration. This is the simple filtration assembly, which will include the filter paper, and after the cooling of this, after pouring into the cold water, we have to go for the filtration. And this is a simple filtration assembly. Sometimes we can use the filter at the pump, means we can add this, we can use this vacuum pump also, which will increase the rate of filtration. Vacuum pump assembly, or this we call filter at the pump. Simple assembly, simple filtration, and this is the filter at the pump. So it may include this component. This is the flask which has a side arm to get attached with the vacuum pump, and this is the Buckner funnel which will be set up at the top of this top of the assembly, and there is no gap. By creating the vacuum, the rate of filtration can be increased. So this is the simple motto to use the filter at the pump. If it get normally filtered out by using the normal filtration assembly, there is no need to use the filter at the pump assembly. If we need it, if the rate of filtration is less or lower, we can increase the rate of filtration by using this filter at the pump assembly. Next, carry out the recrystallization by adding the product. After obtaining the product, after the filtration, we are getting the proved product, so that we can filter out it, we can recrystallize out it with a 120 ml of water containing 2 ml of rectified spirit, that is the alcohol, and boil to dissolve and allow to cool, and then again we are recrystallize to obtain the pure product. And the product to be filtered and dried at 60 degrees Celsius. Weigh accurately the amount of product acetanilide obtained and determine the melting point of the compound. We are using the zinc to reduce the color types of impurities which are present into the aniline, and it helps to prevent the oxidation of the aniline also during the reaction. These are the calculation part. Amount of aniline taken, that is 5.1 gram. Practical yield of the product obtained is whatever the product we are obtaining, melting point whatever. This is the calculation of the theoretical yield to obtain, and percent practical yield how to be obtained. 93 gram of aniline gives 135 gram of acetanilide. So 5.1 gram we have taken into the reaction mixture, so it will give the 7.4 gram of acetanilide on a theoretical basis, and this is the theoretical yield. 7.4 gram is the theoretical yield, practical yield is the actual product obtained. Thank you.